She was the original Beyonce. Beyonce stole her steez.
Oh, you think so?
Look at Crazy in Love video and look at Amarie, Why We Fall in Love.
After taking down major figures like Steve Harvey and Kevin Hart, comedian Katt Williams is now directing his sharp commentary toward none other than Beyonce. According to Williams, the singer's rapid ascent to global superstardom may not be as authentic or glamorous as widely believed. He's stepping into risky territory by questioning one of the most celebrated icons in contemporary music. The backlash from Beyonce's dedicated fan base is likely inevitable. Still, Williams has never shied away from exposing what he describes as industry manipulation, and this time appears no different than before. In a recent interview, Williams offered insight into the mechanics behind the entertainment industry, suggesting that the success of certain artists is no coincidence. Without naming names directly, his implications left many fans speculating that Beyonce could be among those being referenced.
Are you partner with somebody, especially who has a media platform or who has a big platform, you expect them to promote your stuff. Like, how would I look having partnerships with the Black Effect Podcast Network or having people on my book imprint Black Privilege and not promoting their stuff? Because that would be hurting me as well. Like, the bigger they...
According to this interpretation, her image may have been carefully engineered at the expense of others within the industry to maintain dominance and public appeal. Prepare for a deep dive into claims that challenge the polished narrative. Williams has reportedly uncovered details that question Beyonce's path to the top and imply she may not be as untouchable as once believed. Allegations suggest her journey included strategic moves and questionable alliances that reshaped the careers of others. Beyonce remains one of the most decorated and powerful figures in music today. With countless awards, a billion-dollar empire, and unmatched global influence, her rise seems unmatched. Yet, recent voices, including those of seasoned insiders, are attempting to pull back the curtain. Katt Williams is at the forefront of this latest storm, presenting a version of Beyonce's legacy that might surprise even her most loyal supporters.
Beyonce's really not helping Chloe's project or Chloe's album.
I think Beyonce should post because that's her artist, but Beyonce isn't obligated to post, and if Beyonce's post...
Throughout his career, Katt Williams has built a reputation as a fearless commentator, an individual unafraid to expose uncomfortable truths about the entertainment industry. Known for revealing the dark undercurrents behind the glitz and glamour, Williams previously focused his critiques on high-profile figures in comedy and acting. However, his commentary is now extending into the music industry, targeting iconic figures like Beyonce. In a direct and revealing interview with journalist Carrie Champion, Williams broke down how the entertainment world truly operates. According to his perspective, events that appear spontaneous or coincidental, often credited as defining moments in artists' careers, are in reality carefully orchestrated. These developments are strategically manipulated to elevate specific individuals while sidelining others in the background. For instance, Williams referenced Janet Jackson's infamous Super Bowl wardrobe malfunction as...
But I do feel like if you're signed to somebody's record label, right, or you are in business with somebody, that's part of what you assume or what you think, right? If I'm an artist and I sign to anybody, and I seen Jay-Z do it to his biggest artists, Beanie Siegel, to Rihanna, to Kanye, to Emil, he promoted.
He alleged that while the controversy damaged Jackson's career, another artist, Justin Timberlake, continued to rise in popularity. Williams emphasized that outcomes like these are never accidental. They serve specific interests within the industry. Given that example, Williams encouraged audiences to reevaluate the official narrative surrounding their favorite artists, cautioning that the truth is often hidden beneath layers of media spin. That includes industry giants such as Beyonce, whose legacy might appear flawless on the surface but may be far more complex behind the scenes. Beyonce has undoubtedly solidified a dominant position within global music and pop culture, setting benchmarks others aspire to reach. However, Williams suggested that even this level of success may not come without controversy or strategic maneuvering. Over time, the artist has faced her share of scrutiny, and now Williams implies there's more beneath the surface yet to be fully understood.
Now only got to deal with the mama, only got to see her once a year, and it's over. And the money goes up and up and up. So they killed this $20 million guy, but they reaped $60 million in benefits.
One unresolved question that continues to stir conversation involves Beyonce and singer Amarie. Each year, debates reignite across social media as listeners revisit Amarie's breakout hit, One Thing, and compare it to Beyonce's 2003 chart topper, Crazy in Love. This comparison often fuels speculation and discussion about which song and artist truly came first with that distinctive sound. The similarities between both tracks are hard to ignore. Fans have long pointed out that both songs share strikingly similar production, rhythmic patterns, and instrumentation, and that's where the controversy begins. Many music observers have concluded that Beyonce may have played a role in overshadowing Amarie's musical trajectory, effectively limiting her reach and recognition during that critical early 2000s period. For context, Amarie is a Korean-American R&B artist who rose to prominence in the early 2000s. She was known for her distinctive vocals and an energetic sound developed in collaboration with producer Rich Harrison.
Based off of pretend that seems like a setup is.
Everything that happens in a business, that's based off of pretend, that seems like a setup is.
Her 2005 sophomore album Touch introduced her signature use of the go-go style, a percussive subgenre rooted in Washington, D.C.'s regional scene, also prevalent across Maryland and Virginia. This musical identity quickly became Amarie's trademark, helping her stand out in a competitive market. Yet, at the height of her creative expansion, Beyonce's presence suddenly surged with Crazy in Love, a track also produced by Rich Harrison. From that point forward, Amarie's mainstream visibility began to fade, sparking further suspicion among fans. As more artists, including Jennifer Lopez and Beyonce, began incorporating go-go influences into their own records, some fans concluded that Amarie's original style had been co-opted and commercialized. The timing was hard to ignore. Beyonce's career continued to accelerate, while Amarie's seemed to plateau, despite early indications of major success. Music critics and online audiences continued to dissect what really happened behind the scenes, questioning whether Beyonce's rise inadvertently or strategically pushed Amarie out of the spotlight. The speculation remains active and unresolved, with many pointing to industry politics and power dynamics as a possible explanation. Despite the challenges, Beyonce had strong industry backing and massive momentum behind her, making it nearly impossible for Amarie to compete on equal footing. But if there's one thing the Bayhive is known for, it's relentlessly defending Beyonce against criticism or perceived threats to her legacy, especially when those claims go viral. So when online discussions reignited about Beyonce possibly borrowing from Amarie's sound, fans quickly mobilized to shut down the rumors. Many pointed out that Beyonce released Crazy in Love in 2003, a full 2 years before Amarie's One Thing hit the airwaves. According to this timeline, Beyonce's song couldn't have copied Amarie's. One fan argued that the success of Crazy in Love may have even paved the way for Amarie's sound to gain radio attention. They explained that Amarie's go-go inspired music might have been deemed too risky by record executives had it not been for the mainstream success of Beyonce's record. It changed perceptions. Another fan added, "At some point, people have to stop pushing unfounded narratives just because they fit an agenda. It's sounding more like hate than actual critique." On the surface, this defense sounds solid and factual, but there's an important detail that changes the conversation entirely and adds a layer of complexity. Both Beyonce and Amarie shared a key industry connection: producer Rich Harrison. Harrison was responsible for shaping Amarie's distinct sound and was deeply involved in her early career. But here's the twist: he wasn't just her producer. Harrison and Amarie were also romantically linked during the same period their music careers were developing. Their story began unexpectedly in a McDonald's parking lot, where they first connected and quickly started collaborating. In a 2002 interview with Hip Online, Amarie recalled their early studio chemistry, describing it as something rare and creatively explosive. According to her, their sessions consistently produced unique results and strong tracks. At the time, Harrison was already an established figure in the music industry. He had previously worked with powerhouse artists like Mary J. Blige and Toni Braxton. With a resume that impressive, it was only natural that rising stars, including Beyonce, would want to collaborate with him as they developed their sound and careers. So while Amarie and Beyonce seemed to be on separate tracks, they were both drawing from the same creative well. That shared source is what continues to fuel debates, particularly as fans revisit the origins of their signature hits and ask who truly pioneered that iconic go-go influence style first. And that's precisely what happened when Beyonce's father, Matthew Knowles, himself an experienced record executive, stepped in and introduced Beyonce to producer Rich Harrison. Soon after that connection was made, the two began collaborating. Industry watchers believe that Beyonce working with Harrison was no coincidence. It was a strategic move with significant consequences. Some fans argue that Harrison's collaboration with Beyonce led to Amarie being edged out of the spotlight. One online comment summed it up this way: Beyonce tracked down Rich Harrison, who then gave her Crazy in Love, a track built on the same swing-style vocals and production elements that defined Amarie's sound. The fan continued by explaining how this song became the lead single on Beyonce's Dangerously in Love album. It quickly soared to the top of the Billboard charts, staying there for 27 weeks and cementing Beyonce's solo status. According to the theory, it was a career-defining moment that shifted the musical landscape entirely. Then in 2005, Amarie released her sophomore album Touch with the lead single One Thing. Many listeners immediately noticed striking similarities between One Thing and Crazy in Love. This, they claim, was Amarie's attempt to reclaim a style that she had initially pioneered, one that was now being mainstreamed by another artist. Critics argue that the usual defense from Beyonce's supporters, that her version came out first, doesn't necessarily hold weight. According to these voices, in the music industry, songs aren't always released in the order they're created. Producers often hold ideas in storage until they find the right artist or moment to unleash them, and this appears to be one of those cases. Rich Harrison himself admitted in an interview that he had held onto the bones of Crazy in Love for several years, waiting for the perfect fit. Initially, all he had was a hook based on the 1970 track Are You My Woman. This was the sample that later became the explosive, horn-driven backbone of Crazy in Love. From there, Harrison built the rest of the record. But critics argue that the inspiration was born from the sonic identity already being explored with Amarie. Once it worked for someone more marketable, it became a hit. That timeline has reignited long-standing debates about creative ownership, artistic credit, and how commercial success often depends less on innovation and more on influence, access, and power. When someone with industry muscle receives the same style that someone else helped pioneer, the latter often fades from memory, regardless of originality. In a revealing 2004 interview with MTV, producer Rich Harrison explained how his collaboration with Beyonce led to the creation of one of the most iconic pop songs in modern history. He recalled how it all began with a beat he wasn't sure anyone would understand. Harrison said, "I remember when I first did the beat. I played it for a lot of my buddies, as I normally do, and they couldn't dig it. But that's when I knew I had something special." Harrison elaborated that sometimes people need to hear the complete record before recognizing its full impact. He noted, "Yeah, I had it in the chamber. I hadn't really shopped it much because sometimes you don't want to come out of the bag before it's right. People don't really get it and you'll leave them with a foul taste in their mouth." He concluded that he held onto the track until he received a call from Beyonce. According to his own words, the record had been shelved until the right time and opportunity presented itself. The result, Crazy in Love, a genre-defining hit that launched Beyonce's solo career into overdrive. While Harrison never explicitly stated that the song was originally meant for Amarie, many online theorists are convinced that was the case. They allege that Crazy in Love was first conceived with Amarie in mind. But once the label, Columbia Records, reviewed the project, they allegedly decided to give it to someone with broader commercial appeal. That decision, according to critics, ended Amarie's chance at musical dominance. But it doesn't stop there. Allegations have surfaced that Beyonce may have also drawn visual inspiration from Amarie's earlier creative concepts. A resurfaced video shows Amarie describing an idea for a future project, an idea that some argue closely resembles the visuals featured on Beyonce's Renaissance album cover. The similarities have fueled debate among fans and critics alike. Some supporters still defend Beyonce, arguing she followed industry norms and capitalized on opportunity. Others suggest that the responsibility for Amarie's stalled momentum lies squarely with her label's lack of promotional support. One fan pointed out that Amarie's album ranked 192 on the Billboard year-end chart the year it was released. Despite the talent, it had yet to surpass 500,000 units sold in the US, even 5 years after its debut. As these comparisons continue to circulate, questions persist about how much of success in the entertainment world hinges on talent versus timing, visibility, and industry leverage. With the evidence laid out, the public remains divided, and the controversy shows no sign of slowing. Chloe Bailey's debut album In Pieces sold only 10,000 units during its first week, a figure that surprised both industry insiders and fans. With so much anticipation and support behind her, the outcome raised questions. How did an artist with star backing and talent fall short of commercial expectations? On paper, Chloe had everything lined up for success: a major label push, strong production, and a widely respected mentor. Yet, the numbers told a different story. Many began searching for answers, and some placed the blame not on Chloe, but on her mentor. Radio host DJ Envy was among those who spoke up, pointing fingers directly at Beyonce. He argued that Beyonce, given her massive platform with over 319 million Instagram followers, should have used her reach to promote Chloe's album. According to Envy, silence from such an influential figure sends a strong message in today's digital landscape. The topic sparked debate. Why didn't Beyonce highlight the release on social media? Some fans echoed Envy's sentiments, wondering whether there was a strategic reason behind the lack of promotion. Whispers began circulating, suggesting a deeper motive. Some speculated that Beyonce might have seen Chloe's rising star as competition. This theory suggested that Chloe was brought under her wing, not to elevate her, but to manage her trajectory more closely. The speculation didn't stop there. Others suggested the absence of online promotion could reflect calculated branding decisions meant to preserve space at the top of the industry hierarchy. However, not everyone was quick to accept this narrative. When Chloe was asked about the situation during an appearance on The Breakfast Club, she offered a different perspective. She shut down the rumors, stating that she never felt unsupported. Chloe expressed gratitude for everything her mentor had done and insisted that there was no jealousy involved. Despite her reassurances, the public remained divided. Was this simply a case of poor promotion strategy? Or was there something deeper at play behind the scenes? The real controversy began when Beyonce sampled CL Lisa's track, without ever reaching out for her blessing. As soon as the news broke, Lisa was quick to fire back, expressing her frustration publicly. Her words were sharp and direct. "My mind is blown," she wrote, "because the level of disrespect and utter ignorance from all three parties involved is astounding." According to Lisa, she discovered the sample at the same time as everyone else, leaving her blindsided and insulted. She didn't hold back. Nothing is ever as it seems, she continued. Some of the people in this business have no soul or integrity, and they have everyone fooled. This isn't a collaboration, it's theft. This was just one of several claims pointing to a broader pattern. From accusations by Azealia Banks to allegations that Beyonce suppresses rising stars in her own camp, the narrative forming around the singer has grown more troubling. According to critics, Beyonce's rise has come at the cost of others, many of whom were quietly erased or replaced. Katt Williams has become a central figure in spotlighting these stories. With a reputation for speaking harsh truths, he's once again raising questions others avoid. And this time, he's not just talking about entertainers, he's drawing attention to how power is distributed and protected behind the scenes. Is it all coincidence, or is there truth behind these whispers? For now, the Beehive remains loyal, but pressure is mounting. With every new allegation and resurfaced quote, cracks are beginning to show in the carefully curated image. Whether Beyonce's empire can weather this wave of scrutiny remains to be seen. And with Katt promising there are no accidents in Hollywood, all eyes are locked on what happens next. What do you think? Are these just rumors or real signs of something deeper within the industry? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss the next major update. We'll be here when it breaks.